Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight.
but those who worship evil's might.
beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Master of the Core. It is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And this time we're the first week of our two-part Flashpoint coverage here before we get to New 52. This time we'll be talking Abin Sur, the Green Lantern 3-issue miniseries. Hey kids, we might have some news from Comic-Con. We're recording this the Friday night of Comic-Con weekend, yeah. Alright, alright. Let's see if I can make this segue here as painfully as possible. Alright. Remember that horrible Green Lantern movie?
How can we forget?
Well, today I saw one of Ryan Reynolds' better movies, Deadpool and Wolverine.
All right.
It was good.
I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is it? Good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There's some multiversal cameos in there.
There won't be any Green Lantern cameos because he took care of that in Deadpool 2.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, no, it's good. I liked it a lot. Yeah,
awesome.
Group of us went. Everyone liked it, yeah. Not for the kids. Disney did not slow down the language or the violence at all. So
nice.
I love you.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be bad to go back and watch the first one, the second one with what was the Christmas edition of whatever that one was.
Oh,
Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then watch this one. That might be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Disney didn't tone it down at all. Except I love one conversation with Blind Al. She starts mentioning cocaine. He's like, "No, it's the one thing Feige said we cannot do. No, we can't talk about it."
Nice.
Also got. I saw it beforehand on YouTube, but yes, we also got our trailer for the next Captain America movie coming in February.
Okay, cool.
Brand new world, and a quick glimpse at the end of a Red Hulk. And our first look at Harrison Ford as General, I'm running for President of the United States for us.
Who's probably the Red Hulk too, right?
Maybe. It's so funny because he's talking to Sam Wilson about he shaved his mustache to run for president. I guess the inside joke is that's why he looks different because the actor who played Ross before passed away.
Yeah.
All right, but Comic-Con news. I think we might have talked Absolute Green Lantern last time with Al Ewing. I don't know if there's.
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any updates on that. But kids, was it yesterday or today? They announced we're finally getting a new Justice League book, Justice League Unlimited. I don't know if they're going to be rotating the cast from arc to arc, but our starting cast, of course, is going to be. Of course, it's going to the Trinity are going to be there. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and
Batman, my favorite character.
The Flash. I don't know if they mentioned if it was Wally or Barry yet, but the Flash is going to be there. Martian Manhunter, Black Lightning, Captain Atom,
cool,
and filling a Lantern slot. No one green, kids. It's going to be Carol Ferris, the Star Sapphire.
Nice.
So, what do you think? I wonder if this is like a big. With what's going on in Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern series now, and then this is just like stepping stones to getting Hal and Carol together again. Because she's gonna be exactly where he was years ago, where it's like, is this why he missed all these dates? Because you got your core or Guardians on line 1 with a crisis. You've got the Justice League on line 2 with another crisis.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, in the latest issue, which I'm almost finished reading because I just got it today, it opens with Hal being, he's just smiling and happy because Carol came back for him, and
even though he's being tortured by Amanda Waller and a shark.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm really liking the current Green Lantern run. So I imagine that this will play into that. Based on what Jeremy Adams and Zermanico are doing in the series versus what Mr. Mark Waid and Dan Morrow will be doing in it. It's not going to be just JLA. It's like
Justice League Unlimited, I think.
Like
they said, it's going to be basically a work under the premise of like that animated series where it's like I don't know if there's going to be a core, but every so often you're going to switch, maybe switch a character or two out for someone else depending on the mission or whatever. So
cool, very cool. Yeah, it looks good.
Oh yeah, and but it got me thinking. I was like, I was saying, do you think Hal and Carol will get back? When was the last time? And then you're going to have to think way back, I think. When was the last time Hal and Carol were actually like in a real relationship? Because in the Rebirth era we just did, they were kind of just friends. And then even that 90s series leading up to Emerald Twilight, when he frees her from Star Sapphire, weren't they just friends and trying to figure out what they were going to be? And then the Emerald Twilight hits. Yeah.
And then there's that weird annual that we had in the 90s where he killed her but didn't kill her because that was Eclipso.
Oh, yeah.
I think the last... Wow.
It can't be pre-Crisis, right? Like, remember when he gives up the ring and John becomes the full-time... Like, it can't be that far back, can it? Or is it?
I don't know. Because
that whole... Because he gives up the ring for her, and then she becomes Star Sapphire and leaves, and then, then leads into 200, into the core, and then he's with Aricia. Yeah.
And then after that is the thing we don't talk about.
Yeah. What did they want together there?
In the 90s series.
He didn't free her from not Parallax, Star Sapphire until like, what, issue 24 or so?
Right before Emerald Twilight, though, wasn't there something going on with her and her father or something, like in the 40s?
Yeah, what wasn't that last issue before Emerald Twilight? Remember, I don't know if they were trying to wrap stuff up real quick, and was there a weird castle thing, and it looked like the father was behind it and stuff. Or yeah.
And then she dealt with the whole pregnancy Star Sapphire thing, which was just nuts. What, in Extreme Justice, I guess?
Yeah.
And then...
But that wasn't even his kid, was it? It was the Predators or whatever, wasn't it?
It was the Predators.
Yeah.
I still don't understand
That's what
that.
I'm saying. I mean, they've teased us with this for decades, but I don't think they've been in a relationship since, volume 2, what do they call it? Volume 2, issue, 1, probably in the 180s.
160, 180, yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Because after Emerald Twilight, Parallax, Dead, Spectre, then Rebirth,
and then and even when he was the Spectre, she was married. But then when he comes back, I don't think she is. But he was with Cowgirl, and then
mm-hmm. And then there was the War of Light. I know that in New 52, which we're going to get to shortly, I think they're out on a date, and he thinks or she thinks he's going to ask to get back together or ask her to marry him, and he's asking for someone to co-sign his car loan or something. Right? Remember reading that at some point. And then at some point, her and Kyle get together, which I always thought was weird. And I don't know. You know what? I don't know what happens in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. It's possible in there. Or in Green Lanterns, maybe, but I don't know.
I can't remember, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it can't be that they've been teasing us with this for the last 40 years, has it?
Now there was a Carol Jordan that was a Star Sapphire from a different universe during the Grant Morrison run.
Yes,
the Morrison and Sharp run. Liam Sharp. I think you may be right. They may have not been a couple since
the 80s.
Since the 80s. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Literally, they might have been teasing us with this for the last 40 years.
Wow. Interesting.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not like restart. Think about this. Since they've officially been a couple, how many times have we knocked down the core and rebuilt it?
Yeah, no kidding. If I never see, central power battery exploded, all rings are dead except one, again, it'll still be too soon, okay?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if they bring back their relationship, it's not like people can say, oh, they do that every 2 weeks. No, they don't.
No, they have not.
They tease it, but officially they don't.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the 80s. I really do. I don't think that they were. I mean, Carol appeared in Volume 3 before Emerald Twilight, but I don't think it was.
It was more like Friends.
Yeah, I mean, heck, even Olivia Reynolds appeared in Volume 3.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. That's because we had to deal with more oregano. Yes.
Yes, we did. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff there.
It spices up Hal Jordan's life. Oregano.
Exactly. Oh, it's almost like these are Brightest Day issues, dude.
Oh. All right, so
I'm going hard tonight.
Oh my! All right, so yes, kids, because yes, we are covering the first of 2 Green Lantern Flashpoint miniseries, and for those of you for 2 people here who may not have read comics back then, Flashpoint is when Barry Allen tried to go back in time and fix what the Reverse Flash did and save his mother, and in doing so created this dark alternate timeline where, well, there was no Superman because the government had him like under lock and key, which kind of was what happened to Supergirl in the Flash movie. We got it well, and it wasn't Michael Keaton Batman in the comics in Flashpoint. It was Thomas Wayne, a more brutal Batman who would gun people down. Ray, I need you to read some of that. I need you to tell me who's worse or who's better, Bruce Wayne or Thomas Wayne.
Batman, my favorite character.
There's even a Batman reference in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Batman, my favorite character.
I don't want to say too much because it might spoil a moment. But yeah, Barry Allen goes back in time, creates this Flashpoint reality, and again, everything's different. Aquaman and Atlantis are at war with Wonder Woman and the Amazons, and it's literally about to destroy the Earth. So
yeah, and apparently it doesn't just change the past. It doesn't change the present and the past on Earth. It changes it universally, which I don't know how. Flashpointy weirdness. Dr. Manhattan.
Well,
sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, retconning. Yeah. But when you think about it, I mean, again, as we'll see here, no Earthman becomes a Green Lantern, so that's going to at least change the core in that there's no Earthlings in the core.
Yeah, and they changed the past of it because Angara has already been destroyed. Mm-hmm. The Black Lanterns, Necron has already brought a lot of Black Lanterns back, and the Manhunters are attacking. So lots of stuff has changed apparently, which is kind of weird. So
yeah, that's why I was trying to run through my head as I was reading this. I'm like, so how would this have changed Blackest Night? And yeah. Because
apparently the War of Light had already erupted because Atrocitus was still back on his malt, but he was in his Red Lantern gear. So and Sinestro is Sinestro.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So not only is Abin Sur alive and still a Green Lantern, but yes, Sinestro is still also a Green Lantern. So
yeah, this little 3, and we were chatting about this earlier. I would have to say that even the 3-issue series that we ranked the worst from Blackest Night, I still think I would put it above this series.
Oh, wow.
This one just didn't. I didn't feel like it came together. I mean, the art was good, but I don't know. The story was just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't know. I'm trying to remember because it's been a few years. If you read this with the main Flashpoint series, if it makes any more sense. But yeah, I mean, it does kind of jump around. But again, I wonder if it's just they're trying to encapsulate all this history in 3 issues.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it ends with not really a cliffhanger, but a complete change of status quo.
Yeah.
that never gets resolved. If we're just reading this series.
Well, yeah,
right?
it's kind of not going to get resolved because this spoilers. This timeline gets rewritten into the New 52. So
what? I'm shocked, Phil. You could have warned me, man. But yeah, I'm hopeful that next week's series will be a little bit more coherent than this one.
Oh, yes.
This one just didn't come together for me really that well. But we should probably dive into it, and we can start talking about why.
Well, you knew it was going to be bad first. That the covered issue 1. You see what's at the top of it: Green Lantern only in theaters June 17th.
Ouch! Yeah,
that was your first warning right there.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, it's so bad that hold on, I'll bring up the synopses. But there's a synopsis for issue 1, issue 2, none for 3. So whoever was doing the synopses just gave up after issue 2. They're just like,
nah, whatever.
Nah. All right. It has such a long title I have to type in. Flashpoint, Abin Sur, the Green Lantern.
That's right.
All right. Issue 1, Flashpoint, Abin Sur, the Green Lantern, number 1. I hope it's volume 1, number 1. Volume 1.
Yeah.
August 2011, Emerald Isolation. And I found this interesting. Did you see who the writer was? Adam Schlauman, who's usually an editor on Green Lantern books that we've been doing recently.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
So
that he and maybe that's. I mean, I think he's a good editor.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably a good writer too. I just don't think this showcased, his skills very well.
Yeah, and again, I just wonder. I mean, it's Flashpoint, so it's like, yeah, you want things to be different, but then you have to hit like certain things, like, oh, hey, Cyborg's a big thing in Flashpoint. You gotta have Cyborg in here. Yeah. Writer Adam Schlauman, penciler and inker Philippe Mazzaferra. Colorist Rod Reyes, letterer Dave Sharp, and editor Brian Cunningham. On Angara, many years ago, a young Abin Sur is about to squash a soul beetle with his foot when his sister, Erin, stops him. She teaches him the importance of life in all life. In the present day, an adult Abin fights against a manhunter squad while protecting an alien family. After defeating the manhunters, Abin encounters Thal Sinestro, his friend and Green Lantern of Sector 1417. Sinestro informs Abin about Kilowog's death at the hand of Necron and the expansion of the Black Lantern Dominion. See, that's the other thing that's going to piss you off. It's like, they killed Kilowog right away.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, no heroic death. It's like, yeah, they just killed him. Sinestro tells Abin of his plan to gather the finest of the Green Lanterns to go fight against the Black Lanterns, but Abin refuses to join when he hears the Guardians did not approve of this plan. Sinestro tells Abin his sister would be ashamed of him not protecting the life of the universe. Abin becomes enraged by this comment, punching Sinestro and ordering him not to speak of Erin. Keep my sister's name out of your effing mouth! On Oa, the Guardians of the Universe are concerned about the situation, aren't they always? About the situation with the Black Lanterns and the fate of Earth. Earth is an important part of the universe. If Earth is lost to the Black Lanterns, all life will be lost. In the remains of Angara, Abin goes to visit the grave of his sister. He mourns her murder and the destruction of Angara. Later, Abin goes to the planetary citadel in Oa to talk to the Guardians. The Guardians want Abin to retrieve the very essence of life, the entity, from Earth. However, they do not care about the fate of Earth. Abin states that no life is insignificant. The Guardians forbid the salvation of Earth, but Abin disobeys angrily. While approaching Earth's orbit, Abin's ship is hit by an unknown projectile and hurtles toward a city. If Abin leaves the ship, 2,210 lives will be lost, so he chooses to stay in the ship. Meanwhile, on the prison planet Izamalt, Sinestro is interrogating Atrocitus. Sinestro mentions that Atrocitus unleashed the current universal disaster when the latter murdered William Hand, unleashing Necron. Then he demands Atrocitus to help Atrocitus to tell him the prophecy of Flashpoint. Alright, you know what struck me at first? Okay, so Abin Sur
did it hurt?
Oh, well, some of this, but no, Abin Sur, destroyed planet. I was like, okay, is he supposed to be almost like our Jon Stewart pastiche in this?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then some of this, not all of it, not like torturing Atrocitus or anything, but is Sinestro going to be Hal Jordan's maybe? Because he's trying to lead a squad against Black Lanterns. I'm like,
yeah,
disobeying the Guardians. I'm like, who does that sound like?
Yeah, I think just what we've you going over the synopsis, it helped crystallize what I think I had a problem with is that Flashpoint's enough. Everything is different, right? With Flashpoint.
Yeah.
But they're throwing the Blackest Night into this. They're throwing, which means War of Light, which means, and then they're also Manhunters and all of this other stuff that just
too much. Yeah.
It's too much. I mean, I really think it's just kind of like, hey, here's all the crossover overload that you can stand.
Maybe it was done a little sloppily, but do you think maybe he was just trying to show, okay, oh yeah, all these big events you've seen in the regular Green Lantern books, they've taken place in this universe too, but none of it's touched Earth yet.
Yeah, which, I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. There are so many things about Blackest Night. I mean,
okay,
we went over it, right?
Yeah. Well, I had a question. I had a question with that ending because Sinestro, there's like, oh, Atrocitus unleashed Necron when he killed William Hand. So hasn't Atrocitus been a prisoner on Yzamalt the whole time? So how did he kill William Hand?
And how did William Hand even become Black Hand when he didn't have a Green Lantern around to get his little? I mean, there's so many. How did any of it happen? I don't know. It's just, It's so. I mean, you have.
Did Atrocitus escape and come back? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, save my place on the the crucifix there for me, so I can. I mean, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense if he's a Red Lantern leader, which he has his Red Lantern uniform on. Where are the rest of the Red Lanterns?
Yeah.
And there's so many. Again, I really think that the issue kind of lacks focus, right? And we've talked about this during other events too. But I think in this one, it's just like, we're going to throw everything in there. And there's probably even more things that I'm missing about, DC events that I maybe haven't even read. But, there's just too much, I think. And it comes off as unfocused.
Yeah, because there was enough going on in Flashpoint. It almost seems like, Adam Schulman had like a checklist too. He's like, well, I want to mention Blackest Night. I want to mention it. It's like, it's too much. It's too much. For 3 issues, it's too much.
It is too much. Especially, I mean, you're reintroducing a whole new universe that, don't get me wrong, having the Flash change something on Earth, that makes sense. But having him change things in the rest of the universe, that's a little bit, because his mom is alive, Blackest Night's already happening. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, like I said, I kind of get it with, okay, there's been no corpsmen from Earth and stuff, so, Emerald Twilight, I'm sure, probably didn't happen. Maybe that's why the Guardians are so, like, I don't know, so, because I'm like, in the Silver Age, they wouldn't be like this, right? Where they're like, just let Earth die.
Yeah, that's...
Maybe without
uncharacteristically,
that's a more modern take. Yeah.
Cold. Yeah. That just doesn't, the only thing that matters is the entity, well.
You think maybe that's just, because maybe the core hasn't been destroyed every 2 seconds in this timeline because there hasn't been a Hal Jordan or any Earthmen to shake things up?
Well, potentially, but I mean, the Guardians went off with the Zamarans on their own, before Hal Jordan, so apparently that didn't happen, or it did happen and they came back. I mean, again, there's so much that just doesn't, if you start looking at it, it doesn't really line up. How did any of this happen just because Barry's mom's alive, right? I mean, it doesn't make
unless he just
doesn't make internal sense.
I'm trying to remember if they actually threw out any science in the main series. I don't know, unless it was like some kind of temporal wave that just like flew out from Earth, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's just strange.
But again, he's trying to do too much with the Green Lantern stuff. Even in this series, he should have just been like, Abin Sur comes to Earth. Oh, hey, look, it's not Hal Jordan. It's still Abin Sur. He's like, and it's just like him on Earth. Oh, I'm this intergalactic, lawman that you guys have never heard of before, and I'm at odds with my fellow Lantern Sinestro, and he was married to my sister.
Yeah. And we get I guess, can we go ahead and jump to issue 2?
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the whole problem. Yeah, he's trying to do too much with Blackest Night and all the other stuff. He should have just kept it personal with Abin Sur and Sinestro. That's it.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do.
There would have been enough there. Alright, so Flashpoint, Abin Sur, the Green Lantern, number 2 from September 2011. Emerald Connection. Oh man. Alright, so yeah, Adam Schlomann's still writing, but this time we got 3 pencilers. Robson Roca, Felipe Mazafera, and Joe Prado. Inkers are those same gentlemen. Colorist Rodriguez. Letters still David Sharp, and now 2 editors, Brian Cunningham and Darren Shawn. So we have three people penciling and inking the same people. So I wonder if there's also deadline crunches too. Maybe this was brushed also.
Yeah. I don't know, potentially, because the art was kind of uneven, even within an issue and between all 3 issues. So,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad, it was just uneven.
Yeah. Because, again, this is another one where it's like, yeah, you don't want this to be late and to have it, like, coming out not only after Flashpoint's over, but when New 52 starts and we're in a whole new continuity.
Exactly.
All right. Many years ago on Angara, Abin Sur trains a young Sinestro in a sparring match. When the two are done, they are met by Abin Sur, whom draws the attention of Sinestro. I want to bring order to her. In the present, Abin survives crash landing on Earth, whereupon he is found by jet pilot Hal Jordan. More on him next week, kids. Abin weakly tells Hal that he needs help to save the universe before he passes out. And that's the last we'll see of Hal Jordan this week. Cyborg and the United States military arrive on the scene. And again, kids, without a Superman around, yes, Cyborg kind of becomes like Earth's like number 1 hero. The Cyborg and the military arrive on the scene, taking Abin into their custody. Hal stresses the point to Cyborg that Abin needs medical attention, to which Cyborg assures he will be properly taken care of. Sometime later, Abin, fully recuperated from his wounds, awakens and is subdued by Cyborg. Abin introduces himself to Cyborg, telling him of his purpose on Earth, defining the entity and his desire to help Earth. Humbled, Cyborg then offers to join in Abin's cause. Allied together, the two help to save hundreds of European refugees in the wake of the Amazonian Atlantean War, which earns Abin the acceptance of the people of Earth. Abin continues to look for survivors while Cyborg attempts to recruit the world's heroes. As the two go their separate ways, Abin is contacted by a Guardian in regards to his assigned mission. Abin states that he will find the entity as soon as the Earth is safe, but the Guardian states that Earth is already doomed. He warns Abin that if he doesn't find the entity, he will be stripped of his power ring. Abin ignores the Guardian's warnings. In the skies over Europe, Abin is soon confronted by Sinestro. Abin believes Sinestro has been sent by the Guardians to strip him of his ring, but it turns out Sinestro came to inform Abin of a prophecy foretold by Atrocitus, a prophecy known as the Flashpoint. Sinestro elaborates that the history of the universe had been altered. In the original timeline, Angara still existed, but Abin was not alive. Sinestro reveals that he is seeking the Flash in an attempt to make him change reality in their image, believing that he can fix it all. That wacky Sinestro, he'll never change. From the prophecy told to him by Atrocitus before his death at the hands of Sinestro, Sinestro knows that Abin will stand in his way to alter the timeline and therefore Abin must die, but promises to bring Abin back to life when he can. The Green Lanterns engage in combat in which Sinestro ultimately emerges as the victor. Sinestro then slices off Abin's right hand, causing him to lose his power ring. So, yes, thoughts. I love how the Guardians are like ready to strip Abin of his ring because he's not freeing that white entity, but Sinestro's just going around trying to rewrite reality and murdering Atrocitus, and but he doesn't even get a talking to from HR or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Part of me was okay. Cool, they're going to show him crash landing on Earth, and there's Hal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be honest, I don't even know why they did that. It was kind of disappointing. Why even have him land like that? Just to show this is how it was in the regular reality, and we're going to echo that, but we're echoing it to nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just kind of. I
mean, I guess there was too much going on, especially even in the main story. But what if he had passed on the ring to Hal again, just like he did in the regular reality? But but this time it's a Hal Jordan who had been a Green Lantern for all of 5 minutes trying to save the world.
Yeah.
or free the entity.
Yeah. I don't know this.
And if freeing the entity is such a life and death thing, why don't you send more than one Green Lantern?
Yeah, and did the Guardians send more Green Lanterns after they were going to have him not power his ring anymore?
Yeah, because all they're doing is yelling at him. Because when Sinestro comes up, that's the first thing Abin says. He's like, "Did the Guardians send you to take my ring?" He's like, "No."
Have a backup plan, Guardians. You would think after a few billion years, you might have some contingency plans.
I mean, unless the war with the Black Lanterns and the Manhunters is going that badly that they're there's just mass casualties, because again, Kilowog's dead.
Yeah.
We really don't mention. I mean, of course, we don't have any of our Earth Green Lanterns, but we don't mention anyone else. Is Aricia around? Is Tomar 2 or Tomar
Katmatui? Well, she's not because
no,
Sinestro is.
Yeah. But do we have Tomar 2 or Tomar Ray?
Yeah, Tomar Ray potentially. Did the crisis happen in this reality?
Oh,
we don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I don't think that a good job was done establishing just how different, at what point the history of the Corps diverged, right?
Yeah, it's more like high points than like a flowing story.
Yeah,
it's like there's Hal Jordan, but that's not going to happen this time.
Yeah, neener.
I mean, wouldn't it have been interesting if he would have crash landed and instead of like the first Earthman to get the ring is Hal Jordan, if it was John Stewart or Guy Gardner?
Yeah, or heck, even
or someone who had never gotten a Green Lantern ring before.
Or Kyle. What if it had been Kyle?
Yeah.
I mean, make it completely. Why have Hal go there just to not have anything happen with it? We didn't have the Lanterns we have at this point. There was still no Simon, no Jess, no Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But make it one of the other three instead of having Hal just be there, Or
what you do. We know this universe is not long. It's going to get destroyed eventually. It's like instead of Hal, maybe have some Air Force buddy get the ring instead, and by the end of the story, the Air Force buddy gets killed, and so you show, not just anyone could have been there for Abin Sur to give the ring to, and do a good job.
It matters.
Yeah, maybe show that Hal is kind of competent at his job.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This just didn't work for me, and that could totally just be my fault, But,
no, I get it. I get you with the I don't know if it's I guess it's the pacing, and again, I think he tried to do too much with these 3 issues.
Well, I think another problem was we would have present flashbacks and then flashbacks again, and we're like, whoa, okay. First off, we're in an alternate reality.
Yeah, I did jump around.
You're throwing multiple crossovers at us at once, and what?
Yeah, and again, just like with John Stewart and Xanshi, I mean, were they like flogging Abin Sur with the death of not only his world but his sister and stuff over and over? I mean, could that have been accomplished like once, where it's like, oh yeah, you didn't save your world or your sister?
Yeah, I mean, and that could have been done, in a page.
Yeah,
and that would have been, I think, a better use of story real estate than having him crash land but survive and Hal Jordan, see ya.
Yeah, I know.
I
I mean, most of this could have been, Sinestro plotting to kill Abin Sur, and then you just reveal, oh yeah, you let your sister die, my wife, so I blame you for this since then, so I'm going to try to kill you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have to ask the question.
Uh-oh.
You're a freaking Green Lantern. Why do you need a ship?
Yeah, but didn't they try
carry the entity? Why? I've got this here really cool ring that can make all kinds of stuff. Why not use that?
Yeah, because didn't they originally explain? Was it because of parallax or something? He was flying around in a ship or something.
Since Rebirth, he was he had just captured Atrocitus.
That's true. Yeah.
So in Secret Origin, that's why he was in a ship, and that's why he got injured. But in this one, there was no reason for him to be in a ship. I mean, take a ship and go get the entity. Why? Hey, Ganthet, why don't you come help me get it? I mean, you're kind of a little bit powerful. We'll just go get the entity. It'll just be me and you. We'll go do it together, like right now. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, but again, in this alternate reality, who knows if Ganthet's
exactly
as freewheeling as he usually is? Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, again, in this reality, probably didn't get any hard traveling heroes, so you didn't have the old timer or any of them
going nuts,
traveling or traveling around with Hal Jordan and Oliver Queen. So none of them have experienced humanity at this point. So
yeah, that's true. I don't know. It doesn't fit together for me as a cohesive chunk.
Yeah, and again, I think they tried to hint at it, but the Guardians knew the timeline was altered too, right?
Apparently, because
didn't Abin say something to them about, and then they kind of just
forget about that. Go get the entity because it's the Flashpoint prophecy, not the Blackest Night prophecy. So they're kind of smushing some stuff together. Yeah. It doesn't really make sense.
But again, too, I wonder if the Guardians are just like, don't alter the timeline, because if they don't remember the other timeline, they're probably like, who knows what state we'd be in if it goes back to normal, like getting saddled with Hal Jordan or something. We're not saddled with any of those Earthmen here. No, we're fine.
Yeah, we're fine. None of those frickin' Earth Lanterns.
No Guy Gardner. No, we're good. But yeah, again, I think Adam Schlomman tried to do a little too much here. I would have had no problem if this Green Lantern series had never touched Earth. Because again, next week we're getting a Hal Jordan series that's going to be set on Earth. So had this never touched Earth, I would have been fine with that. I mean, I guess you have to with the entity, but
yeah, I mean,
that would have been the most drastic thing, where it's like, oh yeah, or no Green Lantern. I mean, there's a protector for that sector, but no Green Lanterns ever go to Earth. The Guardians have no interest in Earth, so this.
But now I will say this: I really liked the idea of Abin Sur becoming a White Lantern. I thought that really worked well, assuming that he had already established, the Indigo tribe, and was worried about the Blackest Night. But I don't know necessarily that was the case. But I did like the idea of Abin Sur becoming a White Lantern, because in the real continuity, he was aware of what was about to happen. So in this continuity, having him be a White Lantern, that actually kind of makes a little bit of sense to me. Now, how it happened, but the fact that it happened, I thought was kind of cool. Which we're going to get to in the third issue.
Should we talk 3? I don't have a synopsis, but I do want to talk about the team here, because Adam Schlomman, of course, is still writing it, and of course you got your colorist letter. Everybody's the same, except this time Robson Roca is the penciler and Philippe Mazzaferra is the inker. So Philippe was the penciler on the first one. Now he's the inker on the third one. And you had all those pencilers and inkers on the second one. So
I wonder if that's a mix-up on the credits.
I don't know. I mean, unless they're, Philippe or someone in editorial was like, let Robson pencil the last one because he's quicker. So who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Here, let me pull up the issue. I'll tell you. That's what they says on the website there. All right, issue 3. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, the end of issue 3. Yeah, we're not going to ever get to see that resolve. And I mean, unless they did a little bit of both, because in the actual issue, it's just saying art, Robson Roca and Philippe Mazzaferra. So
yeah, so maybe it's a mix of
a
penciling and inking for both. Yeah, who knows? Or who knows at this point?
So Sinestro's cut off Abin's hand, and of course, as we know, they don't have to be touching their rings to control him. So Abin calls his ring and makes a energy construct hand.
At least he didn't make it a hook.
No.
Sorry.
So basically, he destroys Sinestro's ring. He says, "You're no longer worthy to wield this ring." Yeah. And then, Sinestro's yelling at him, you can't save everyone. He says, "I at least have to try." When Sinestro's like, "And your sister, what would she think if you knew you even try to bring her back?" Meaning alter the timeline again.
Don't you talk about my sister.
Exactly. He's He's like, my sister is dead, and she would know I am right. You are no longer the man she married. Goodbye, Thal. Of course, the Guardians are calling again.
Hey, pick up, man. Hey, we need to get together.
Where's the white entity? He's like, you do know one of your, he says, calls him one of the greatest warriors has gone rogue, and still you do not care. Like, the white entity must be, and he's like, you know this Flashpoint he spoke of. And that's when the Guardian just stops. Then it says, Lantern 1417 is not to be trusted. Return to Oa immediately with the white entity.
Yeah.
And Albin's like, no, not until I save this world.
Yeah.
And then the Guardians are basically looking at Earth and seeing everything that's going on, which is not doing good. But Albin's like, yeah, Guardians, when did you lose hope? Look at this man. Meaning Cyborg. He has no fear. What are you afraid of? They're like, you dare accuse the Guardians of having emotion? But they tell him, you have failed us, and you are hereby expelled from the Green Lantern Corps. Your ring has been deactivated, cut off from the central power battery. Once its energy fully depletes, a worthier champion will be chosen. So, yeah, Abin has a 13% power left. So he's like, I'm going to do what I can until I can't. So he's basically trying to help Cyborg save the Earth, and then what is this? He's trying to stop the Geoforce bomb. Yeah, that's basically he's diving into the Earth, and his power's going down 4%, 3%, 2%. And you see just big rumble, and it's just like that ring comes shooting out. Space Sector 2814 scan for replacement sentient initiate. So, see, we never see.
Al Jordan's close.
Oh yeah,
This guy Gardner.
I was gonna say I could think of at least 4 Earthmen that are relatively nearby.
Yeah.
But then Abin sees his sister, dressed in white. He's like, he's like, you're here. I have failed. She's like, no, you're mistaken. And basically, yes, as will spoiled kids. Yes. Long story short, yes. I guess the white entity has bonded with Abin Sur. Let life embrace you. Yeah, he said, I couldn't do this without you. And she says, it was always within you, Abin. I'm so proud of you. And yeah, he comes shooting out and starts working as a White Lantern. That's where we end the issue, kids. End the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I really like the idea of him becoming a White Lantern. I think that's fitting. But
again, just the nature of this, it's like you can't really do anything else with it because it's
yeah. I mean, because it has to be the main Flashpoint series. See, that's what, and we were talking about Blackest Night. They set up the stakes for Blackest Night such that here's the plot, here's what the characters have to do, and we can wrap that up. Even while the larger things going on, we can at least have an ending here. And I don't really feel like we got an ending here. We got this next thing that happened, and the next thing that happened is actually much more interesting to me than everything that we read to get to this point.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this should have been the end of issue 2, and then we kind of get more into him as the White Lantern. Even if he goes out like trying to reset the timeline or something, because again, it's going to end up being Barry Allen. But again, maybe have Abin trying to help or something, or
yeah. But I mean, does he even appear? I don't think he appears in the main Flashpoint series.
Like I said, it's been a while, but I mean, if he does, it's like tangent. I think if he does, it's like how Jordan was in this series. He might make a brief appearance, but
yeah. I mean, ultimately, I don't know that this accomplished, because it didn't really seem to add much other flavor to the Flashpoint universe, right?
Yeah, no.
We got to see Abin Sur, but we didn't get to see him much, really as a normal functioning Green Lantern because everything was in disarray. So
yeah, because basically, I mean, again, the hunt for the white entity, it has nothing to do with the main series. I mean, the main series is basically Cyborg trying to put together who he can to save the Earth and stop Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and then Flashpoint, Batman trying to help Barry reset the timeline. Because once Barry tells him, he's like, yeah, you're dead in the original timeline, but your son lives, because in the Flashpoint, yeah, Bruce Wayne died and his parents lived, and his mom went crazy and became the Joker, but. So once he tells Thomas Wayne, he's like, yeah, you're dead, but Bruce lives over there, and I'm his friend, and that's when Thomas Wayne helps him.
Yep.
So yeah,
he brings back a letter to him, I think.
Yes. Yeah. His father writes a letter to Bruce, and and Barry brings it back and delivers it. That's like the very end of the Flashpoint series. as they're standing there in their New 52 costumes.
Yeah, and then something happens, Phil. What's the next thing that happens? The New 52. Wow.
So basically, if you're ever doing a read of Flashpoint, you really don't have to read this Abin Sur series. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't affect the main narrative at all.
I'm guessing the same thing's probably going to be true for next week's, miniseries. Yeah,
but hopefully it'll be a little better because it'll be your boy Hal Jordan.
That's true. I mean, and the thing is, I like Abin Sur.
Yeah, me too.
What we got to see of him in the lead up during the Rebirth era. We got to see some of him in the some of the history with Abin Sur of the Rebirth era, and he's an interesting character who ultimately died and gave the ring to Hal. So I guess that's why I'm a little disappointed with this series, is because I don't feel like we got a lot of Abin Sur, and I know that's weird because he was in every issue and in most panels. I don't feel like we got anything to differentiate him from kind of just a standard Green Lantern. Oh, he almost stepped on a bug and his home planet's dead now.
Yeah, it's basically dead planet, dead sister, has a respect for all life now.
Yeah, so I don't know. It didn't work for me. I hope it worked for some people, but this one didn't work for me.
Yeah, Guardians, even more cold and unfeeling, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
But again, this is a darker timeline, so. Oh.
Thank you, Dr. Manhattan.
They'll recon that later. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan stealing time or something.
Yeah. Are you sure he wasn't punching time? I don't know.
No, he's gonna pull Superboy Prime now. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got, sir.
All right. So like we said, next week we'll do the other Flashpoint miniseries, Flashpoint Hal Jordan. That's another 3-issue arc. And then in 2 weeks we will start New 52 with the first 6 issues of the Justice League book. So we'll see kind of almost like a flashback of New 52 because it'll show the formation of the Justice League and Hal's in there. And then
because New 52 was weird, if I remember it right, because you had Action Comics by Grant Morrison.
Yeah, that was kind of set earlier. Like at least the first arc of Justice League was set earlier because they said the Flashpoint, the present of Flashpoint was like this. It was like 5 years after. It's like, oh, these heroes have been around for 5 years.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, but all this stuff happened. Batman's had 4 or 5 Robins in 5 years.
He goes through them once a year, man.
And it's like, and then Kyle's still around, so it's like, okay, so Hal had his whole career. We did Emerald, Twilight, and then because I think they still said Kyle was the only Green Lantern for a while. So it's like, we did all this in 5 years.
Or 4 years because...
Yeah.
He had to be the lone Green Lantern for a while.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From the time he got the ring until so he did a lot in 5 years.
Yeah. Wow. And New 52, though, does something kind of awesome for us, right? It gives us
many books.
Green Lantern Corps, Red Lanterns, and Green Lantern New Guardians.
Yep. 4
books a month.
That's
which
right.
Which is pretty darn cool.
For a while, because eventually they started Sinestro book too.
And a Larfleeze book.
Yes! And like I said, during New 52, we'll have some stuff thrown in here and there, because Lanterns will show up in other places, like an issue of Blue Beetle, an issue of Stormwatch. So they'll be all over the place.
And eventually we'll get to Godhead, which makes no sense.
Yes.
Which I'm sure we'll get into ad nauseum when we get around to that.
And speaking of making no sense, remember, kids, episode 200 and 201 we'll be stepping back in time a little bit and covering Millennium, at least the Green Lantern part of it.
Yes.
All right. So send us your thoughts on that, on all the upcoming stuff. Yeah, because after the first arc of Justice League, we'll cover the first 6 issues of the Green Lantern series, the first arc from New 52. So email us, about this, the Abin Sur story, or the upcoming stuff, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Pick up new Capes Lunatics merch, classic Capes Lunatics merch. Again, please rain random money on us through the Cash App link.
Make it rain.
Don't have us dancing out here on the metaphysical pole as the timeline changes around us. Talk about being dizzy.
She looks like she was just working a stripper pole down at Divas.
Like drunk Justin videos. Alright, and of course, the Patreon, where Lilith and I try to give you something original only to you Patreon subscribers every month. July episode was our trip to HersheyCon. I don't know what's coming in August yet, but we'll be completely uncensored Lilith Hellfire, so find that at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics, and find it all at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. It's all in the show notes, or just pause this video. It's up there on the screen.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
Alright, now for this Mr. William Allred, master of the Green Lantern Corps, master of the Quantum Zone, master of podcasting, and the master of several Kickstarter campaigns. Where can people find you and find these books, Will?
You can find me at Wallred, that's at WALLRED, at Gmail and Blue Sky and Facebook and Twitter and probably other places that I forgot that I set up at this point. But like Phil said, I do write comics, and we fund them on Kickstarter. So Crossover Division number 5 should be getting to me by the 1st of the month, so I'll be able to send out packages for them. And I just found out today that the freighter that has Crossover Division Volume 1 hardcover has made it to America.
Yay!
So if you'd like to find out more about that, you can find that out at crossoverdivision.com or diaryofnight.com, which is another series that I've written. And obviously, you have great taste because you're hanging out here with Phil and I, as we talk about Green Lantern. So that means you probably love Marvel's Quasar nearly as much as we do. So if you'd like to find out more about Quasar, you can do that at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day. I am God.
I'm just happy the pirates didn't stop that ship.
I hope it's going somewhere
Me too.
nice.
They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
We gotta talk to him about that quote.
Yeah.
Of course not, Hal Jordan.
I do.
I just thought the first ever conversation I had with the man, I don't know, I just felt a little weird saying it. So about this line about orifices.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
You want to see what you could get away with?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got away with it.
That's right. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Again, next week, Flashpoint Hal Jordan. And then it's straight on to New 52. We'll be, except for that episode 200 and 201. We'll be on New 52 the rest of this year and pretty much all next year, so. We're going to have a whole lot of books to talk about.
Whole lot of books.
It's for a month for a while. Yeah. Alright, kids. Come back next time. And remember... watch that timeline re-entry. It's a little bumpy. Good night.